cheated on for years. She discovered her hidden net worth. His laugh turned to shocking heartbreak. The laughter had always filled the Johnson household. From family game nights to spontaneous backyard barbecues, joy seemed to echo off every suburban Ohio corner. But one fateful day, Sarah Johnson felt that laughter shatter like glass when she discovered Tom, her husband of nearly 2 decades, had been hiding secrets far more painful than she could have imagined. The moment she stumbled across his text, the one addressed to another woman, her heart sank, a tightness gripping her chest. The image of her perfect life, built on love and family, crumbled before her eyes, and the small town where family values ruled. Betrayal hit harder than she expected. Sarah was left grappling with the jagged reality, questioning her worth and identity. In her quaint antique shop, her sanctuary for nearly 20 years, she found solace among the time-worn treasures. But solace couldn't mend a broken heart. Yet amid the emotions swirling within, fate had other plans. While rummaging through her attic one late afternoon, a small dusty box caught her eye. Something stirred within her. She opened it to find meticulously organized files, all property of Tom. As she thumbed through the papers, her mind raced. Every document was a piece of a puzzle, revealing a surprising reality. And then it hit her: their net worth exceeded what they'd ever imagined. The antiques she had scoured for, the investments Tom had secretly managed, were astounding. Sarah's heart raced as empowerment surged through her veins. This realization shifted the narrative from loss to reclaiming her worth. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Fueled by newfound determination, Sarah decided to open a chic second-hand boutique that blended her love for antiques with a modern twist. She envisioned a vibrant space filled with color and creativity, a reflection of her revitalized spirit. With the unwavering support of her loyal neighbors and friends who rallied around her, showing up with coffee and encouragement, her dream began to take form. As the store opened, people flocked to explore her curated collection. Laughter had returned, but this time it felt different. It was hers, echoing with the sounds of transformation. Yet just as things began to flourish, emotions ran high once again. One evening, as she was closing up, Tom stood in her doorway. The shock on his face, once filled with laughter, was now a grimace of fear. Her heart raced. The weight of old wounds and buoyant hope coalesced in that moment, and Sarah knew she had to confront him. Would he finally see her worth? Would he recognize the strength he underappreciated? As she prepared her words, her gaze steeled. The air crackled with unresolved emotions, and the question lingered. Would this confrontation alter the course of their lives forever? Sarah's breath caught in her throat as Tom stepped into the boutique. The backdrop of vintage dresses and assorted knickknacks faded into a blur. All she could focus on was him, standing there, a figure battling his own storm. It was almost surreal. "What are you doing here?" she managed to ask, her voice barely above a whisper. Tom shifted his weight from one foot to the other. The familiar crinkles around his eyes were gone, replaced with an unfamiliar tension. I wanted to talk," he said, voice low and shaky, as if he were wading through a particularly murky puddle of regret. As he spoke, memories invaded her mind: quiet dinners spent planning their future, laughter-filled trips to the lake, and those lazy Sunday mornings with the kids. But now, the warmth those moments once had was swallowed by the bitterness of betrayal. "Talk about what, Tom?" she countered, steadying herself. "About how you didn't think I was worth the truth. About the life you built while keeping me in the dark?" His expression shifted as if her words were icy darts. "I didn't want you to worry," he began, but she cut him off. "Worry? Of you cheating on me? Or worry about my own worth? I deserve to know the truth. But also, I deserve respect." Tom opened his mouth to argue but closed it instead, swallowing hard. Sarah could see the gears turning in his mind. He may have cheated, but now he looked truly afraid. She felt a mix of triumph and sorrow flooding through her. Hadn't he seen the transformation in her? Perhaps he'd thought of her as fragile, but now she stood strong, defiant. "Do you understand how much I've changed?" She stepped slightly closer, letting the space between them shrink. This shop was my way of reclaiming myself. I didn't just find out about our finances. I found me, Tom. The me you lost sight of long ago. His posture relaxed a fraction as he lowered his gaze. I never wanted to lose you. It was almost tender. But Sarah couldn't let that in yet. But you did, she replied, her words firm but touching. Every time you chose her, you lost pieces of me. You took away my trust, my belief in us. The shop was silent except for the faint ticking of the clock. A gust of wind rattled the door slightly, as if the world outside was waiting along with her. She could see Tom's jaw clench with conflict. There was a flicker, a hint of hope that perhaps he would understand. I'm sorry, he said finally, the words tumbling out with raw sincerity. I messed up, but I want to change. I want to fight for us. Fighting for them felt like a challenge Sarah hadn't prepared for. The turmoil of her heart battled with the truth of who she was now, a woman reborn. Did she want to fight for something that had become so tainted? Could she even think about reconciliation? Tears brimmed in her eyes, but she blinked them away angrily. It's not that simple, Tom. I need more than words. I need actions that prove you value us. She turned away to collect herself, trying to push back the wave of her vulnerability. The boutique had been her sanctuary, yet now it felt like a battlefield. Just then the door swung open and Mrs. Patterson, a regular customer, walked in, catching the tense atmosphere instantly. Oh, sorry, am I interrupting? Sarah exchanged a glance with Tom, her lines of confrontation blurred by collision of vulnerability and strength. Tom opened his mouth, but before he could speak, Sarah gathered herself. No, not at all. Just a business matter. We were discussing how important honesty is. As Mrs. Patterson picked a trinket off the shelf, the moment hung in the air, thick with emotion and unspoken words. Tom's eyes searched hers, a silent plea that begged for a chance to prove he could be better. But could she trust him again? The shop felt heavy with the weight of decisions looming. As Sarah wiped her eyes and breathed deeply, she realized this moment could change everything. She needed to find her voice not just for herself, but for their family's future. The question remained. Would this be the moment she either took a leap or finally let go? The moment Mrs. Patterson's voice broke the heavy silence, Sarah felt both relief and irritation. The air was still charged between her and Tom, leaving unspoken words swirling around them like the dust motes dancing in the afternoon light. Sarah, if you need anything, just let me know, Mrs. Patterson said, eyeing the two of them, her curiosity piqued. Thanks, I'll be fine, Sarah replied, forcing a smile while her heart raced. She wanted Mrs. Patterson to leave but also found comfort in the distraction. Tom cleared his throat. I didn't mean for things to get so complicated, he said, voice softer now. Complicated? Sarah echoed, irritation bubbling over. Tom, you created this mess. It's not complicated. It's straightforward. You chose someone else over us. She sensed the way he flinched at her words, how they struck a chord deeper than mere regret. They were raw truths he had buried, and now they resurfaced raw and cutting. I know, he said, his voice breaking. I was stupid. I thought I could have both worlds, never realizing how much it would cost me. I didn't understand what I had until I lost it. Damn right, Sarah replied, fierceness rising within her. You let your greed cloud your heart. And now you want forgiveness as if it can wash away everything you did? As Mrs. Patterson wandered further into the shop, lost in her thoughts on lace doilies, Sarah felt the conflict inside her swell. Part of her wanted to unleash all the hurt, to make him squirm, while another part ached for the man she had once loved. The love she had for him felt like a distant muffled echo, invaded by the reality of betrayal. There, the way he spoke her name drew her attention back. His gaze, open, vulnerable, caught her off guard. I'll do anything to make it right. Anything? She asked, narrowing her eyes. What if you truly mean that? Actions, Tom. I need something more than just promises. He nodded, determination flickering in his eyes. But before he could respond, the bell jingled again. A couple of college students entered, laughter spilling into the tense atmosphere. Sarah forced a smile, the mask of a business owner falling right back into place. Welcome. Let me know if you need help with anything, she said. Her voice smooth and cheerful, nothing like the chaos swirling within her. In that moment, it hit her. This was her life now. The two worlds colliding, the hurt and the hope. Standing in her own store, she realized that maybe she didn't need to decide everything right now. Maybe she could take this one step at a time. As the students browsed, Sarah caught Tom's gaze again. He was watching her closely, as if trying to read her thoughts. She saw the slightest shift in his expression, a spark of admiration mixed with remorse. Then something dawned on her, a new clarity. "I don't want to rush back into anything, Tom," she said, her voice steady. "But I'm not saying it's completely over. If you want a chance, start by being honest about everything. No more secrets." Tom nodded, relief flooding his features. "You have my word." "Your word isn't good enough anymore," she replied, challenging him. "Prove it. Show me who you are now. I need to see that you've changed." As the exchanges continued, Sarah felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps a sliver of a path was opening up, where the past and future could meet. But the road ahead felt precarious. Later, after Mrs. Patterson left, the shop became quieter. "I'll do my best, Sarah," Tom promised, sincerity weaving through his words. "I hope you will," she said cautiously. But could she allow herself to hope again? As they stood amidst the vintage dresses, echoing the laughter of their past, Sarah wondered if she was strong enough to navigate through the shadows. Would opening the door to a new chapter come with more heartache? Or could it lead to something beautiful? And just like that, she was struck by another realization. In the depths of heartbreak, there is also a place for rebirth. What if she learned to love not only him again but herself more than ever? Would this really be a leap into the unknown, or the beginning of something that could change everything? As the afternoon sun dipped lower in the sky, casting warm hues around the shop, Sarah felt a strange mix of anxiety and anticipation. She watched Tom, his hands shoved deep in his pockets, shifting uncomfortably by the door. The silence was heavy between them, but this time it felt different. The tension was charged, almost electric, and her heart raced at the thought of what might come next. "Can we talk somewhere a little more private?" Tom suggested at last, glancing around as if ensuring the students didn't overhear. Sarah hesitated, her pulse quickening. "The back room?" He nodded, and together they stepped through the curtain that separated the shop from her small storage area. The air was thick with the scent of old wood and fabric. As they settled into a couple of worn chairs, the din of the shop faded, leaving them in a bubble of their own. That intimate space, the walls felt like they were closing in. Tom cleared his throat, his gaze steady yet pleading. "I realize that I can't keep avoiding the truth. It's haunting me." She raised an eyebrow, the anger from earlier igniting anew. "What truth? That you played with my heart?" "No, the truth that I've been lying to myself. I lost sight of what was important. I thought I was doing what I wanted, but I lost what mattered most." His voice trembled, eyes glistening as he continued. "I let you slip away. I thought I could hide it, the guilt, the shame, but it just kept eating at me." Sarah leaned forward, feeling the raw emotion radiating from him. Was this true regret? Or just another plea? "You don't get to waltz in here and act like you can fix everything with a few heartfelt words. Trust needs rebuilding, Tom." He inhaled deeply, the weight of her words settling between them. "I know. I need to show you. No more playing games, no more secrets. I want to be part of your life again if you'll let me." Part of my life? The idea felt like a fresh wound, still tender. "That's easy to say, but how do I know you won't throw it all away again?" "I'll prove it. Just give me a chance to start over." His eyes held hers, unwavering. Her heart pounded as the flicker of hope ignited once more, battling her fear of getting hurt again. Proving it means more than just words. It means facing the past, addressing the mistakes, telling me everything no matter how ugly it is. Tom's expression shifted, revealing a vulnerability that took her by surprise. "Okay," he began hesitantly. "I wasn't just with her. I was involved. Emotionally. And I didn't want to see how far I'd fallen until I realized that what?" Sarah pressed, her heart tightening. That he swallowed hard, grappling with his own confession. "I didn't just betray you. I betrayed myself. I let who I thought I wanted drown out the love we had. And now it feels like I'm fighting to reclaim a piece of my soul." The admission hung there like a fragile thread holding them together. Sarah felt her chest tighten with the weight of it all. The truth as heavy as the world that once felt so light between them. "You can't just use big words and expect everything to change," she said softly, a hint of defeat seeping into her tone. I know and I'm scared, but I also know that if we're going to try again, we need to lay everything on the table. His sincerity pulled at her heart. She longed to believe him but feared the depth of her own desire for reconnection. I need time, she murmured, the reality setting in that this path would not be without its struggles. I'll wait, he replied firmly, his resolve unwavering. As long as it takes. With the echo of his promise hanging in the air, Sarah faced the jagged reality that lay ahead. This was more than just a choice. It was a journey of rediscovering trust. Could they navigate the heartache and find a way back to each other? As they sat in that dimly lit room, their world felt both precarious and promising, with shadows of the past lingering just out of sight, waiting to see what the future had in store. But deep down, Sarah pondered, would love be enough to mend the splintered pieces, or was she opening herself up to another heartbreak? Tom's gaze dropped, the flickering lights of the room casting shadows across his face, revealing a mix of regret and yearning. You say you need time, he murmured, hardly breaking eye contact. But I feel like time is the one thing we don't have. I've wasted too much already. Then prove it, Sarah challenged, her voice firm despite the knot in her stomach. You talk about wanting to be part of my life. Show me you mean it. The words felt like a challenge she wasn't quite prepared to make, but the weight of their shared past pressed too heavily on her heart. Thomas' brow furrowed as he leaned back in his chair, the thought sinking in. How do I do that? Where do I even start? Start with honesty, she replied, her heart thudding. Tell me what happened. Everything. No more hiding. He inhaled sharply, bracing himself. I should never let it get this far. I was selfish. I let the thrill of something new blind me. She was different, exciting. But I thought about you. It haunted me. You were always in the back of my mind, like a ghost refusing to let me move on. Tom, her voice cracked, torn between anger and the temptation to reach out. But you still made a choice. I know, he interjected quickly, almost desperately. And every moment since has been a painful reminder. I thought I owed it to her to see where it led, but in doing so, I lost you. I lost us. He paused, his voice thickening with emotion. I didn't just betray you. I betrayed the love that we shared. Sarah felt the tears sting her eyes, but she wouldn't let them fall. It should have never come to that. You should have fought for us. I tried in my own messed up way. But I wasn't ready to confront my own fears. I was scared of commitment, scared of failure. So, I jumped into something that felt easy. He looked away, clearly wrestling with the shame of his actions. Feeling a surge of vulnerability, Sarah whispered, You know, I didn't think I could ever feel this way again. You hurt me so deeply that I closed off completely. She shook her head, frustration bubbling up. You shattered my trust. How am I supposed to believe you now? I don't expect you to believe me right away, he said, his voice low and sincere. But I'll show you. I'll prove it in every way I can. Just give me a chance to make it right. Sarah's heart quaked at the thought, a whisper of hope mingling with the cold reality of her memories. Start over. Could they really? Was she brave enough to risk it all again? The atmosphere thickened, a familiar unease creeping in. The light filtering through the curtain painted a soft glow around them, contrasting with the storm brewing inside her. Their connection felt alive, yet fragile, a delicate dance between risk and desire. Let us take it slow, she finally conceded, her breath trembling. One step at a time. No more secrets, no more lies. But if there's even a hint of deception again, we're done. Agreed, Tom said quickly, relief flooding his face. Promise you. But just as Sarah thought they had drawn a line in the sand, that familiar pull of confusion hit her. Could trust truly be rebuilt? What if this was just another cycle of pain dressed up as hope? As they sat in silence, the weight of their unspoken doubts loomed between them like a wall, tall and unyielding. And just when she felt the pull of warmth seeping back into her heart, an insistent thought nagged. What would it take for them to climb over that wall together? In that moment, the future felt unsettlingly close and yet painfully far away. Sarah understood that this path she was taking with Tom wasn't a straight line. It was crooked and fraught with the possibility of heartbreak. But deep down, a flicker of courage ignited within her, and she realized it was that very fear of vulnerability that might lead them to the truth, a truth that could either heal them or shatter what little they had left. But she couldn't shake her burning question. Was she ready to face whatever lay on the other side? Time seemed to hang in the air, caught between them like a taut string. Sarah stole a glance at Tom, the air thick with all the things they hadn't said. Could they really relearn each other? Could he tune into her the way he once had? A rush of memories flooded back, every shared laugh and secret glance. It felt both beautiful and devastating. What's the first step, then? She asked, her voice wavering at the edges. If we're really going to do this, Tom's eyes brightened slightly. I propose a dinner. Just us. A chance to talk, to reconnect without distractions. There was a hopeful spark in his voice that made Sarah's heart flutter, but fear quickly wrapped its fingers around her. What if it backfired? Dinner, she breathed, considering it. Just one dinner? Just one dinner, he repeated, nodding earnestly. Nothing fancy. Just good food and honest conversation. Okay, I can do that, Sarah replied, trying to steady her own racing heart. But it can't just be about easy conversation. I need you to share more. About what you want and what you need. His expression shifted, and the flicker of bravado in his eyes dimmed. I want us back. I want you back. But what I need? He paused, searching for the right words. I need to be forgiven. I know that. The admission hung there for a moment, suffocating, and in that silence, Sarah could almost hear her hesitation echoing off the walls. Forgiveness felt monumental, perhaps insurmountable. Forgiveness doesn't come easy, Tom, she warned, uncertainty creeping in. It's a process. It might take time. I'll be patient, he said, his voice sincere but almost pleading. I'm committed to this. To us. The catch in her throat tightened, a physical reminder that sharing this journey wasn't just about old wounds reopening. It felt like a leap into the unknown. Fine, let us plan for it, Sarah said, heart pounding louder than the words. But don't expect it all to be sunshine and rainbows. I need to know we can talk through the tough stuff. Absolutely, he replied, his face breaking into a soft smile that momentarily chased away the darkness hanging over them. It was a start, she reasoned, a tentative thread weaving them back together as they parted ways that night. Sarah's heart was a jumble of excitement and dread. Would that dinner bring them clarity or rip back open the wounds? What if reliving those memories only hurt them more? With every step home, thoughts raced wildly. Despite the fear, there was a small flicker of hope that perhaps Tom was right, that one dinner could be the beginning of something new. Later, as Sarah lay in bed, the shadows of doubt crept around her once more. Rebuilding had to be a deliberate act, a choice made every single day. Yet, beneath it all, a whispered thought lingered in her mind. What if this little act of trust was enough to pave the way for something more profound? But just as she was about to slip into a restless sleep, an urgent question flared. What would happen when the past came knocking, demanding to be addressed? Would she find the strength to answer it? Sarah woke up with the sun peeking through her curtains, a mixture of nerves and determination swirling in her gut. The day of the dinner was finally here, and she had spent the night replaying every possible scenario in her mind. Would they talk about the fun times or dive headfirst into the pain? After a rushed morning, Sarah stood in front of her mirror, the weight of uncertainty heavy on her shoulders. Would he show up? Would the warmth of his presence, even just for a moment, feel familiar? She couldn't shake the tingling anticipation, a tiny flame of hope flickering beneath her layers of doubt. An hour later, as the clock ticked closer to the meeting time, she arrived at the cozy Italian restaurant they had loved in their early days. The atmosphere inside was warm and inviting, filled with the scent of fresh pasta and garlic. Sarah seated herself at their usual table, her fingers dancing nervously on the linen-covered surface. When he walked in, a rush of emotions hit her all at once. It was Tom, looking just as handsome as she remembered, but there was something in his demeanor that felt different, in earnestness perhaps, as if he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. Hey, he greeted softly, sliding into the seat opposite her. His smile was genuine, but under it lay an awkward uncertainty. They both knew why they were here. Hey, she replied, forcing a smile. She picked up the menu just to have something to focus on. The words blurred as her heart raced. After they ordered, the conversation began with innocent small talk, a necessary dance, familiar yet stiff. They talked about the weather, their favorite dishes, and even shared a laugh over a memory of a disastrous lasagna experiment. But the delight frayed quickly, the tension palpable, and the looming shadows of the past overshadowed their attempts. Sarah, he finally said, breaking the casual facade. I know this feels forced right now, but I think we need to get to the tough stuff. Her breath caught. Here they were, finally standing on the edge of the cliff. I agree, she said quietly. But it's going to sting. His eyes met hers, and she saw both fear and vulnerability. I want you to know that I'm not proud of what happened. I hurt you and I regret it every day. But I promise I'm here to be better, to earn your trust back. Regret is a start, she replied, painfully aware of the weight of her words. But it doesn't erase the hurt. Trust isn't built overnight, Tom. He nodded, swallowing hard. I understand that. It's just I feel like I need to prove to you that I'm not the same person I was. I've spent so long mapping out my mistakes in my head. I don't want to hide anymore. Sarah's heart thudded. Then show me, she said, urging him with an intensity that surprised even her. Show me that you're willing to open up. I need to understand your struggles. Tom hesitated, his expression tight with emotion. I thought I could manage everything on my own. Job stress, family expectations. It all got to me and I swayed. I wish I could take it back. I know it's raw, she said, blinking back the sting of tears. But if we're really going to do this, I need to know what you've learned in the end. As the conversation deepened, the layers of hurt began to peel away, revealing raw vulnerability. Every word brought the weight of their shared past a little closer to understanding, yet there were still shadows in the corners, secrets neither had uncovered. Suddenly, as Tom mentioned a moment that had shattered him long after the affair, the mood shifted. Sarah felt a pang of sadness, knowing the hurt lingered, but the realization also ignited hope. Could they truly rebuild from this place? But just as she thought they were on the brink of a breakthrough, the sharp ring of her phone shattered the moment, dragging her back to reality. It was a message from her sister, a crisis within their family that demanded her attention. Do you want to? She trailed off, glancing at the screen, concern flickering in her eyes. How could she juggle this emerging connection with the chaos that waited for her outside these walls? With the fate of their tentative bridge hanging in the balance, Tom's gaze met hers, and she saw the absolutely critical question. Would they hold on to this moment or allow life to pull them apart once again? The moment hung in the air, the energy swirling between them thick with unspoken words. Sarah could feel the weight of her sister's message pressing down, a stark reminder of responsibilities that tugged at her heart. But this dinner, this moment with Tom, felt monumental. I think I need to take this, she finally said, the words tasting bitter on her tongue. It's my sister. There's something going on with the family. Tom's brow furrowed, the flicker of disappointment in his eyes piercing her resolve. Do you need to go? We can reschedule now. The word burst from her, surprising them both. I don't want to run away. I need a minute. She stepped outside, the cool air hitting her face like a splash of cold water. Pulling out her phone, she opened the message. A family emergency. A cousin had been in an accident. There was a request for her to help navigate some complicated family dynamics. It was needed, urgent, but Sarah felt the world blur around her. Couldn't this wait? Suddenly, she was teetering on a precipice of choices. Her sister needed her, but Tom was here, sitting at their table, willing to be vulnerable. This was the first real link to a future she once envisioned, a chance to rebuild what was lost. Taking a deep breath, Sarah replied to her sister quickly, promising she would be there as soon as she could. This was a moment meant for healing, and she didn't want to let it slip away. Returning inside, she found Tom looking pensive, the sparkle of hope dimmed. I'm sorry, she said, sinking back into the seat. I really want to be here. The family stuff is just overwhelming. But I need to focus on us too. Us? He paused, searching her eyes. Is that what this is? An us again? Feels to me like I'm the only one trying to hold on to something. You're in the middle of a family crisis, and I'm just hoping we can find our way back. His voice had a tremor, sadness wrapping around his words. Tom, I don't want to give up on this, she insisted. You mean more to me than you know. But I can't ignore my sister's needs either. The hurt flickered back into Tom's gaze. A moment of silence stretched, filled with the clinking of cutlery and muffled conversations that felt miles away from their tiny world. Then what do we do? He asked at last, his shoulders sagging. How do we bridge this? I don't know yet, Sarah admitted, feeling raw and exposed. But we have to communicate. Can we share our lives, the chaos and the hope? The hurts and the healing? His nod was slow but steady, a hint of determination sparking beneath the weight of uncertainty. I'm willing to try. But Sarah, what happens when the world outside catches up to us? When life gets busy or complicated? That's just it, she replied, her voice firm. We have to face it together. We can't allow anything to pull us apart again. I want to understand you, all of you, the good and the bad. As they locked eyes, a flicker of mutual understanding passed through them, a promise wrapped in a fragile thread. But just then her phone buzzed again, this time a call from her mother, the sound cutting through their moment like a knife. Now what? Tom asked, frustration mixed with worry. Sarah bit her lip. It's my mom. Seriously? Can't you just turn it off for once? She hesitated, caught between her responsibilities and the growing connection with Tom. The call pressed against her heart, a reminder of the chaos that always waited. Maybe I should take this, she whispered, a sense of dismay settling over her. Without waiting for his response, she rose, ready to slip back into the storm waiting on the other end of the line. But before she stepped away, Tom's voice stopped her in her tracks, carrying a heavy weight. Sarah, please let me know what you choose. Just as she turned, his words echoed in her mind, bringing forth the question. How could she choose when her heart was caught in two worlds, both longing for her but needing to be healed? As she stepped outside once more, the sound of her own beating heart was drowned by the urgency of family, leaving her to wonder, could she truly balance love and loyalty, or was she destined to tip the scale with one choice after another? The cool breeze enveloped Sarah as she stepped outside, her heart racing in a way that was both familiar and unsettling. She glanced at her phone, the screen lighting up with her mother's name. Each ring felt like an anchor pulling her back into the turmoil of family, away from the fragile connection she was tentatively trying to rebuild with Tom. Taking a deep breath, she answered, trying to steady her voice. Mom? Sarah, honey. Her mother's voice was laced with urgency and an undercurrent of panic. We need you to come over. There's so much to sort out. Your cousin could use all hands on deck right now. In that moment, Sarah's mind filled with images of her family, voices raised in frustration, faces pinched with worry. Responsibilities flooded her thoughts, drowning out the budding feelings she had for Tom. Yet an empty space tugged at her, a growing fear of losing what little hope she had of rekindling something special. Okay, I'm on my way, she said, trying to sound confident even as self-doubt simmered beneath the surface. Thank you, sweetie, her mother sighed, relief pouring through the line. I knew I could count on you. As she hung up, a wave of frustration washed over her. She felt like she was caught in a spider's web, struggling to break free. Turning back to the warm glow of the restaurant, she braced herself for the difficult conversation that awaited her with Tom. Inside, he sat with his head bent, fingers tapping nervously against the table. He looked up, his eyes searching. Everything okay? Not really, she admitted, stepping back into the tension. My mom just really needs me to come home. There she hesitated, looking for the right words. They're handling things with my cousin and it's all falling apart. Tom's expression darkened, the rejection hanging between them like a curtain. So that's it then? You have to go to your family? No. I mean, yes, I need to go, but I want to be here too, with you. Each word felt heavier than the last, as if the very fabric that bound them was at risk of unraveling. His silence was deafening. I don't want to be another obligation, Sarah. I get it, family comes first, but what about us? Are we just something you pick up when things are calm? Her heart ached at his words, his hurt radiating from him like a physical barrier. Tom, that's not fair, she said, hoping to break through his defensive shield. You know it's complicated. I need to help them, yes, but I want you to understand that I also want to help us. Do you really mean that? He looked at her earnestly, as if seeking the truth etched in her features. Or is that just something you say on crowded nights where everything feels too heavy? The weight of his question pressed down on her, making her feel as if she might crumple into a heap. I don't know. She finally burst, her voice breaking. I'm trying to figure out if I can have both. Can I fight for my family and for what we had? That's all I want to know, he replied softly, his gaze still intent. Are you fighting? Am I fighting? The question hung there, like the silent bell before a storm. She felt the pulse of fear and hope intermingling. I want to fight for you. I want this moment to mean something. Tom's eyes softened momentarily, but the crack of emotions remained palpable. Then show me, Sarah. Show me you can choose both. But if it comes down to me or them, he trailed off, leaving the impossible choice lingering unspoken. A single tear slipped down her cheek, blurring her vision. The world outside was screaming for her, threatening to pull her into its chaos. But inside, Tom's solemn promise of possibility flickered like a candle in the dark, urging her to hold on. I don't want to lose you, she whispered, the enormity of that truth crashing over her. I truly don't. But I can't ignore my family. As the silence between them grew thick, the weight of his unvoiced thoughts echoed in her heart. What would happen when she came back? Would there still be a place for her with him? Would they still stand under the soft glow of hope? Or would she return to a shadow of what they had shared? That uncertainty held her captive, leaving her torn. Now, with both worlds calling her name, she knew she had a choice to make, and she wasn't sure if any path would lead her back to the person she longed to hold. As she stepped back towards the door, one question haunted her. Could love and obligation truly coexist, or were they destined to fight against each other to the bitter end? The soft late evening light poured through the boutique windows, casting a warm glow that felt like a gentle embrace against the backdrop of Sarah's swirling emotions. She stood at the front, Tom on the other side, looking less like the confident man she once knew and more like a reflection of everything that had brought them to this moment, vulnerable, raw, and uncertain. Sarah, his voice was a fragile thread, holding both fear and a desperate yearning. I don't want us to fizzle out just because life gets complicated. We're here together, and that has to mean something. She took a deep breath, letting it fill her lungs as if to steady the storm in her heart. Does mean something, Tom. But balancing my family's needs and my own, it's hard. I didn't expect all this. Images of frantic conversations with her mother and tearful family members danced in her mind, each pulling her deeper into the chaos while longing for the simplicity of their laughter-filled past. What if I can help? Let me be part of that, Tom urged, leaning closer, eyes glimmering with sincerity. I care about you. I want to understand. You don't have to fight this battle alone. His words seeped into her core, a tender balm to the cracks that had formed, but the pressure of family obligations still screamed in her ear, echoing her fears. What if they need me? She questioned softly, almost to herself. What if you and them start competing for my attention? Tom's silence weighed heavy. That's the thing, Sarah. Can't be a competition. We need to learn to share space. My faults, your family. It's messy, but perhaps that's how we grow. The notion sparked something deep within her, a flicker of that hope she thought had long been extinguished. You really want that? She asked, studying his face, searching for a spark of truth that rang louder than all the noise in her heart. I truly do, he replied with fierce conviction. Let me prove it to you. Let us face all of it together, navigate every bit of this chaos. That spark turned into a flame, igniting her desires and giving her courage. Then let us try, she whispered, taking a tentative step closer and leaving the fear behind. For real this time. Tom's face lit up like a sunrise, relief pouring from him in waves. I won't let you down. I'll do what it takes to show you I'm committed to this for us. Their eyes locked, the weight of lost time and struggles shifted into a shared hope. It felt like standing on a precipice, but this time she was ready to leap. And I promise to share the heavy burden of my family with you, she continued, clarity settling in her chest. Let us face the wild ride together. My joys and fears are yours now too. As they stood there, a warmth began to spread through the room, a promise of transformation. The love and laughter they once shared blended with the realities they now faced. They would rewrite their story, both past and present. A light laughter from the back interrupted them, and Sarah turned. Mrs. Patterson had returned, her arms loaded with trinkets. Sorry for crashing, but I couldn't resist a second look, she exclaimed, her warm smile instantly softening the mood. Sarah grinned and Tom chuckled, the tension melting away, replaced with an easy familiarity. Moments of laughter resounded, weaving through the air, filling every crack with warmth and healing. As they prepared to close for the night, Sarah took Tom's hand. It's a new beginning, isn't it? Let us see where it goes, she said, squeezing his palm gently. He nodded, his eyes shimmering with a mixture of joy and promise. Together, he affirmed, and the word hung in the air, their shared resolution palpable. With the door locked and the last of the customers gone, Sarah felt free, ready to embrace whatever would come next. Together they stepped outside, the world felt alive. The sun dipped below the horizon, igniting the sky with shades of pink and gold, a perfect reminder that every ending can be a beautiful beginning. In this moment, Sarah understood something powerful. Healing didn't mean forgetting. It meant evolving with all its complexities. "Let us go grab some pizza," Sarah suggested playfully, already imagining the warmth of his laughter wrapping around her yet again. "Now we're talking." Tom beamed, pulling her closer as they walked into the twilight. And as they strolled into the vibrant Ohio night, Sarah realized that love, albeit messy and complicated, was always worth fighting for. This was just the beginning after all. And now, if you enjoyed this transformative journey, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let others experience this heartwarming tale. Comment below on your reactions and feelings about the ending. Your words matter. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Your support can make all the difference. This is the moment to show just how much you care.